Hello everyone. We are live now in this session.
Hello everyone. We are live now in this session. Hello everyone. We are live now.
We will discuss about the concept of physics which will help you in your ICSE class 10 board examination. Be with me and I promise you that I will give you some guidelines through which you will be able to score 100% marks in your board examination of physics. In this situation, I am here to help each and everyone. I want that each child should be perfect. That perfectness you have to bring. And what should be your motive in this? Your motive should be only to focus in the class. If you are in the class with your presence, you will find yourself in a very good condition because I will clarify each and every concept to you through depth. Today, I'm going to talk you about the topic that is kinetic energy and potential energy. Kinetic energy. So here the term kinetic energy, what does this state? The kinetic energy means the energy passes by an object due to its position. That will be potential energy. It is not a kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is the energy passes by an object due to its motion. So whenever any object moves, so what is the primary requirement for the kinetic energy? There should be motion. Object should move. If object is moving, then only it will have kinetic energy. This is the first requirement of kinetic energy. The object should move. If your object is moving, then only you can say that yes, it is having kinetic energy. Now, what is the formula to calculate the value of kinetic energy? Kinetic energy formula is kinetic energy is equal to 1 by 2 mv square. Pay attention to this formula carefully. M stands for mass. This is mass of object. And V stands for velocity. This is velocity of object. So kinetic energy of any object which is moving can be easily calculated using this formula, that kinetic energy will be equal to 1 by 2 mv square. Now, based on this formula, in your board examinations, the questions comes will be in terms of relationship. If you change velocity by half, how the kinetic energy will be affected. So suppose you are taking here KE1, initial kinetic energy, 1 by 2 mv square. Now the question is, if you make the velocity by half, how the kinetic energy will be affected? So for this purpose, what you should do, you write here KE2. This is equal to 1 by 2 m v by 2 whole square. I hope you have followed. Where v is written, write there v by 2. At the place of v, write v by 2. So I have written v by 2. Now, what will be your ke2? Ke2 will be equal to 1 by 2 m v square by 4. So that this 1 by 4 here, it will become 1 by 2 m v square. This is ke2. So you see here ke1 1 by 2 mv square. So ke2 is equal to 1 by 4 ke1. It means kinetic energy will become let me adjust the camera. Now I think it's visible. No. Yes. So kinetic energy will become 1 by 4 times of the initial kinetic energy. So this is very important to understand that Yes, you know about kinetic energy, but how to use it? That is value when it changes, then you can use it. We can practice one more. That is, if we are going to make velocity by v by 3, how the kinetic energy is going to get affected? So in this condition, you see k e1, this will be initially 1 by 2 mv square. Now what you do? You are finding k e2, this is equal to 1 by 2 m. If you make velocity by 3, v by 3, so right here v by 3 whole square. So how much it will become? 1 by 2 m v square by 9. You can write finally 1 by 9, 1 by 2 m v square. So what is this 1 by 2 m v square? That is k e 1. So you can write in this condition that kinetic energy will become 1 by 9th time of initial if we make velocity v by 3. So these are certain questions which comes. You cannot get direct questions in your board examination. We'll go for the next concept. In this concept, what happened? You are going to understand potential energy. What do you call potential energy? So the potential energy concept is related to the position and configuration. That is PE. P stand for potential energy of the object. What is potential energy? The energy possessed by in within an object due to its position or configuration is termed as potential energy. So position concept is gravitational potential energy. Like if you keep any object at certain height above the earth. So suppose it is kept at height above the earth. So what will happen? Potential energy here will be mgh. And configuration case comes in the case of spring. If you take a spring, stretch it and release it, so it will vibrate. Small, big, small, big. So that is configuration. That we don't have to discuss. We have to discuss about mgh. So in the case of potential energy, if you see, this potential energy is directly proportional to height. As much above you take, potential energy is more. So the object which is on the surface of Earth will have minimum potential energy, and the object which is above the surface of Earth will have maximum potential energy. Based on these two, there is one law that is called law of conservation of energy. This law of conservation of energy is a very famous law and is very important also. What does this law state? This law of conservation of energy, what does this state? This law of conservation of energy state that the total energy of a given system remain constant. We cannot create energy, we cannot destroy energy, but what we can do, we can transform one form of energy into another form. So this together is known as law of conservation of energy. Now, derivation also you should know for your understanding, because basic thing is that if you study physics without understanding, it is of no use. Physics, if you want to score more in the physics, what you should do? You should study with proper understanding. Though you will find it very difficult, but it is really interesting for you when you have proper understanding of physics. Then you will find though concepts are difficult, but you can understand, then you can apply it, you can score more. So if you want to score more, join Ajay sir classes. So let us understand about transformation of energy and then total energy we'll see. Suppose one object is at point A, After some time B and then C. You can take in reverse order also. Object was initially at C, then B, then A. The height of this point C, the height of this point C from the ground is h, and you have kept here one object of mass m. After some time, this object has fallen x distance, it has come to point B, and then finally it has come to A. So in this journey, we need to check if it is following the law of conservation of energy or not. If you see carefully that it follows the law of conservation of energy, then yes, energy cannot be created.